What the actual... What the hell is this? Oh god. Cables. No, don't get me... What on earth? I've never seen anything like this before. So basically we've got a backbone, essentially. A free backbone. I'm going to have to use cables, aren't I? There's no getting around it. Unless we start... Well, no, I don't have to use cables. I could, you know, I can hang steel and stuff off here. We've got a couple of join points down here. I've never seen anything like this in this game. Actually, what was the test? We've got all crosswind. Oh my god, 3 trains and a strength 3 crosswind test. Which means crossbars all the way, baby. Right, let's get it on. Let's do this. The final canyon map. We've survived everything. This game can throw us. And what I've essentially got now is a free backbone, so I'm not too you know, that's actually quite cool. Although I do notice that the little cross pieces suddenly stop here to allow traffic through. Now cables, I think, are better at the wind. Let's go with iron. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 main weak spots. There's an asymmetricness about the joints. We can go to there with a cable, but these cables don't like being hung at an angle. And I refuse to believe that they could actually support a train. Which has got me thinking. It's got me thinking. This is going to be tricky, you know. Because if we just hang straight cable there, it's not going to support it. We can quickly prove that, but... You know, I honestly don't think this is going to work. It would be ridiculous if it did. For what is essentially a final level map. But we'll see what happens. We'll learn from this. I suspect the train will fall straight through. I don't think it'll take... You know, this cable is not going to hold a train. But let's find out what the deal is. And then we'll strengthen it wherever we need to, I guess. A 3-carriage train. Okay. 1 cable. There it goes. Yep. Just as I suspected, Mr. Bond. There was no way that was ever going to hold that. So the option is... I start building steel contraption across here, in which case we're going to have to take the load from there. Just get rid of all that cable. Or I build a lattice and then support that by cable, which looks a bit pants, I think. Well, that actually... You see, that works. I'm assuming this backbone has a... Whoops, that doesn't work. I'm assuming this backbone has an enormous amount of strength about it. Now the question is, does one steel piece there like that, does that hold the weight up of a train? In which, you see, the solution can't be that simple because they give you they give you a cable for God's sake. Or is the cable for the advanced people who like to go, haha, this is the easy way, and I shall now show you how to do it with bits of string and hold a train up. Let's just find out. Where's the train? There he is. Zoom in a bit. Find out what happens here. Are you going to hold the weight of that thing up? Are you? Are you? Are you? Yes, I think you are. Okay, that's interesting. What about the wind test? Oh, look at it swing! Look at that! Oh, wow. Wow, the road just got tore apart. I didn't think it was that easy. Which means... How do we make... Okay. So what we're saying is that this moved around because the only thing stopping it from moving around is this cross piece here. which means we're going to need a lot more cross-sectional rigidity, I think. But at the same time... Right, okay. What I'm trying to say is... we need a lot of that going on. Because this thing needs... along its length, it needs to be strong. In a cross-piece sense, and it's currently not. The only thing stopping the wind from blowing this side to side is the little tiny crossbars underneath. Otherwise, this is a hanging thing, and that's no good. So I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to build... I knew there was more to this than met the eye. I'm going to build along like that. And one more. And then... that's going to give a lot of rigidity. Then we're going to use iron. Is that going to hold it? Is that going to support the weight of this thing? I don't know. I don't know. Essentially, all of that steel has got to be supported by that. That's what we're saying here. Now that's a join point on the actual backbone, isn't it? I believe. If I remember. So that should be okay. We are running out of material though. Which is where I'm guessing the cable comes in. But if we put cable along here, I'm not kidding, it's just going to... Again, this is just going to be like a suspension thing. It's just going to swing around, isn't it? There's nothing to stop it moving. This is an interesting one, actually. This is slightly more taxing than it first appears. And then let's tie that in at the end like that. Now, I don't think that's particularly strong, if I'm honest. Let's see if we can put some of these things in. To try and strengthen it. Like that. Let's see what it thinks about that, shall we? Let's see what this random physics engine thinks about that. Wait, let me just run this test again, and I pass. It's an interesting design. It's not exactly minimal, I don't think. And I'm not convinced that these cross pieces are actually helping. We'll see when the wind test comes whether this starts to swing again. I've got a feeling it will. But you can't, you know, you can't put any cross pieces in there. That's the problem, because the train can't fit underneath. There we go. Watch for that swinging. That's the main thing. Every time that swings, look at it move. Look at it. Oh my god. That is so dangerous. Imagine being on that bridge. There it goes. No. It's just not rigid enough against the top. The top thing's fine, but it can't transmit its rigidity into the floor. And even if I put things here, I suppose it'll help. Whoops. Random bit of steel. I suppose it will help. Let's try it. Maybe that's what the cable's for. Thinking about it. Maybe that's what the 600 meters of cable is for, to try and give you some kind of... If you zip it along, instead of the steel and iron, maybe that will... Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe, instead of having all these cross pieces along here, made of steel and iron, if you actually just go along with a cable and zip it all up. I could easily see myself making a different design of this, where this top section is about half of the size, and it's zipped up along its length with cable. That would be a secondary design I could see myself doing. And it would be a lot cheaper, because obviously cable's a hell of a lot cheaper than steel and iron. And as long as you use enough cable, it would hold that train up. Right now, I just want to get to a solution. I've still got a lot of movement though. Far too much movement. Nope. That didn't work. I think I'm going to rip this up and start again. And try use that cable. Okay, so let's try this again. Right, we definitely need the cross pieces on this road. And we only have 600 meters, so I don't want to build these pieces too long. I think 2 squares is probably the right option. The emphasis on the word probably. Closely followed by the best lager in the world. Right, so zippy zippy. How are we going to do the zippy zippy thing? First of all, actually, let's mirror this across the top essentially. So we'll go like this. I'm making this up as I go along. Not that you can tell. Like that. Oh, why can't I go to the end? That's retarded. Right, we'll just go down there instead. Look, I can't build to the very end piece. Probably better anyway. Bin that. No, bin that. And build like that. Right. So we've got that. And we're going to go iron. Going to go iron like that because I like that. That supports it nicely. Which will then transmit the weight of this piece here. So the weight of that is going through there and it's pulled back by here. Okay, so what's keeping this lot up? What's keeping this lot up indeed? Well, we could hang it. So what we could do is hang that to there with the shortest piece of iron ever. And we could hang the whole thing like this. So that is all held up. That's probably nice and strong. And then, this is where we go zippy zippy. Because we go like this. To there, to there, to there. To there. And then we come back the other way. With the absolute weirdest structure you've ever seen. So the general idea is that all this cable is keeping it up. But as we all know, I have a hate relationship with cable. And this is good. It's not... Well, the cable's actually snapped. Why is all these pieces snapped instantly? This is what I don't get. As soon as the game applied load, it just snapped them, but not them. So they're now taking all the strain. So as soon as this train comes across, this is going to break. Because that's... It's already weakened. And that's what I don't get about the cable. There you go. Bye-bye, train. Bye-bye, train. So instantly I start thinking about removing cable. As I always do. So how can we make this rigid from being swung around? That is the question. We can make it strong like that. We can make it so that it will support the weight of this train. But how do we stop it swinging around? And the only way I can think of, and I just don't think we've got the material for it. Essentially, you'd need another thing. You need another thing going on here, which can have the cross pieces. Do you see what I mean? So thinking about this for ooh, Baldric, I have a cunning plan. Right. So what I'm thinking is. Does anybody get these references, by the way? You know, Baldric, I have a cunning plan. So what I'm thinking is we mirror what's going on underneath. What I'm looking for is essentially a box. But with cross pieces like that. Okay. You see where I'm going with this? So we have the smaller the better. So these little things like this, with the cross pieces in, will give it a lot of support when it's being pushed sideways. I'm trying to minimize my use of steel right now. Like that. Okay. So that's going to give it extra rigidity. Now the road's already got the cross things on it, so I'm not going to repeat that. How much material have we got? I'm not going to repeat that going this way. I don't think it needs that level. But, you know, this is what I'm talking about here. Like that. And then finally, I think we can get rid of that piece in favour of that instead. So this should provide the road, its surface itself, with a lot of support against that crosswind. That is my theory. Okay, now the only thing we need to do is hold the whole thing up. Which we could do with cable or steel. And I'm going to try the cable just to give it a chance to prove itself. We all know what's going to happen. But I'm going to try it. If this works, I'll be quite proud of myself, because I think that's a nice looking bridge. And I'll have made it out of cable, which would be doubly impressive. But in principle, I like the design of this. Especially when you're the person driving across, this is quite pleasant because there's minimal, you know, the visibility is fantastic. The visibility at the bottom of the river isn't so good. The road snapped. Is what happened. He got to here and the road just completely gave way. So, you know how it goes. The first thing we do is delete the cable. So now I'm oops, no, that will never work. That will hold that up. Holding this up is a little bit more problematic, given how much steel I don't have. Is there enough steel to do this, I wonder? 183 meters left. That's the weak spot right there. I'm trying to find an aesthetic way of holding that up. I don't, you know, the cable won't do it. The steel might. But it kind of breaks the symmetry in the design, unless I do that. That helps slightly. Okay, let's see what the train thinks about that, shall we? Each of these maps is taking me longer to do. I'm having to think a lot more about them. Which is, yeah, I think that's fair enough. The last maps in any challenge should be the most difficult. But this one is an interesting and nasty one. Let's see what the train thinks of that. Nope. That is still not strong enough. So now we're going to have to resort to let's think about this. Think triangles. We're going to have to resolve to something like this. Which needs to push its weight against that joint. That's the nearest. We can't make that. So So can we do something like... Actually, if we do that and then... Looks horrible. I really hate that. I mean, it just looks horrible. Does it actually do the job, though? That's the question. I think it does. I think it does do the job. Oh, man, I hate it. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And replicate this thing over here. Although the design is slightly different. To there. To there. To there. Like that. Oh, it bounces around something nasty. And it shouldn't do, because that is... That joint here, which it's pushing against, is attached to this rigid frame. So that shouldn't really be bouncing around, I don't believe. Let's get a train side view when it turns up. Come on, Mr. Train. Come and ruin my bridge. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Right in the drink. Wow. He broke my bridge in a big way. So for some reason that is not strong. For some reason it doesn't like that at all. Now I could hang some of the weight there, but because I've made this such a short thing, I'm going to have to move that joint, I think. I have to do this and bring that a bit further down. This was definitely not an anticipated thing. So now we can effectively load bear it that way, load bear it that way. It just seems like fierce overkill. And I haven't got any steel left. So that was... It was fine with that. Maybe if we just go one more. Actually, I really don't get why... How much steel have we got? Surely that can take the weight down there like that. Wouldn't that just do it? That seems bizarre. Okay, so obviously this is what I had, and this is what I'm proposing now. So the train comes along. A lot of the weight's going to go through there. The rest of it is going to go through like that. Maybe that's what it needs. Maybe that's what it needs. Let's try this. It doesn't appeal to me because it's all kind of asymmetric and weird design. God, solving these bloody bridge problems. Oh, it's supposed to be fun. More like a job. Come on. Break my bridge, you bastard. It's bouncing around. It's made it, but it's not very happy with it. Look at it bounce, good grief. We could put another piece there, I suppose, if I've got enough. Now, the all-important wind test. It's still moving, look. It's holding up better, but oh, look at that, that's gone again. That piece of road's gone. That nearly made it. That actually reached the peak wind, and it nearly got through the test. It just kind of started to weaken. It was this bit that went. This bit's fine. And actually the road surface in the middle is fine. The weakness is here. This isn't a good design, basically. We've still got plenty of iron left. So I'm thinking we can just strengthen this up with some iron. start sticking iron everywhere. And a piece here, like that, and a piece there, like that, and a piece over here. Where did that go? That went from that one to that one. Well, that strengthens it up nicely. It doesn't have the aesthetic appeal of that bridge that I did earlier on, the one with the just lovely cable lines along the top. And it's like, this is so beautiful. But it can't take the train, so it's useless. Well, we know this must take the train, because we've made it stronger, and it took the train last time. But let's have a look if it creaks quite as much. That's pretty strong. I'm not seeing any movement there. That's very strong. So now the wind. Come on, come on. The wind test. There's the movement in the middle. That's what we're expecting. This is the crucial bit. That's the weak spot here. Look, this arch, it moves around a lot. That needs a cross piece. That's the solution. That's the solution right there. It was a, it's a design flaw, basically. What needs to happen is we need to take that out, and we need to do this to make that nice and rigid, and probably should do the same here. That's what makes it rigid on the crosswind. Possibly slight overkill going on there now. Probably could take some of that iron out. I mean, if you're playing this at home, then, you know, you've got oh dear. You get ample time to do that. You can basically just get the bridge working and then try taking stuff out and see if you can make it, you know, more minimal. But my hope is, fingers crossed, my hope is that will be enough. Middle bit's fine now. This under road system works quite well. It stops it snapping. It's quite minimal. This is an unexpected complication. I mean, if you're building this in real life, you just put attachment points back here. But obviously, the challenge is using the attachment points that they give you. That's the difficulty. I wish you could just skip past these things. Because all that really matters now is the wind test, but it's the wind test after the train has weakened it, so you can't. Right. There's a bit less movement going on. It's still not perfect though. But is it enough? Pay attention to that number, 119 is the peak. There's a piece fallen off. Right, it survived the wind test, but a few pieces are hanging off it, so it may not survive the cars. The cars could end up going for a swim. Oh! They all got to the middle. They all got to the middle, and then it gave way. So everybody died. That was brilliant bit of timing. It just seems to, I don't know, did it weaken the road? I think that's what happened. So there must have been just too much movement here, which was enough to weaken the road. And given how much stuff we've got, or not got, it's going to be difficult to do anything about that. Should we run the test again just to see if we can pass it? You know what this game's like. Let's get in the bus. We'll make a bus of these. They look a little bit like a Mercedes-Benz. They look a little bit like the out of OMSI Bus Simulator, actually. Right. Oh, this is a good view. That's F6, that's F7. And that's F5. Right. Oh, look. See this. Look, he just broke my bridge in a way that didn't happen last time. This is crazy. This almost feels like if you just keep running the test until you pass. It almost feels like that, like random physics. Well, there's no way a car's going to go over that. Because basically the road section's hanging off. It survives the wind, it just can't survive the car. So we need to get inside a car, come on. we need to experience this. FPS crashing on a bridge. What's going on? Oh, look, some of the cars got over. Right, this game is... I swear, if you just run the tests, you can get it to pass. That's what it feels like now. Because the second time, the bridge broke this, and then the cars got over. I don't think there's anything wrong with the design anymore. I mean, this is... all the triangles going on here. This is crazy. How can you make that bridge any stronger? I mean, I've used almost all of the materials. It's fiercely strong. Now, will he break my bridge again about here? No, you see what I mean? He just didn't do anything to it this time. I'm beginning to think on that one I couldn't do in the city maps. I'm beginning to think the guy who posted a successful video just ran his test enough time until it worked. That's what we don't want. We don't want pieces falling off randomly. And now it fails on the wind test. Insane! Random physics are us. Three heavy 9-ton buses. There must be a lot of fuel on board. I'm convinced that this is going to pass. I'm convinced of it. Come on. Come on, Mr. Train. Don't break my bridge. Okay. That works okay. We could actually put another supporting piece here. But I don't think it's going to solve any major problems. Okay, that's the wind test, and nothing fell off. So all we've got to do now is get through the car test, and it's done. The bridge is red, it's quite weak at this point. Somebody should really go in and fix it. They're going too quickly, they should drive slower. And there you go, I've proved it. I've proved my point. If you run the test enough, you will pass. I don't get it, but that's the way it is. Random physics. 5.9 squillion out of a budget of 7.1 squillion. It's not the best bridge in the world, but it worked. And that's it. That is the end of Canyon. They're all done. Roller is all done. The only one that I couldn't do was this city one. That's the only one I've not been able to solve yet. So, in the next video, I shall be tackling this one. The last 4. And maybe if somebody can actually give me a working solution to this, maybe I'll finish the game. That's it. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to click like if you did enjoy it, and leave your comments. Let me know what you thought of it. Take care, guys. See you soon.